some of the questions, and we're definitely going to do our best to address questions as we move through the process. We're almost at the max capacity, and then once we get there, since we're so close, I'm gonna go ahead and just start the overview at that point. Just I ask that you put yourself on mute. That will just allow the process to run smoother. And we can just keep going. Now, one thing I will say, as I see that we're coming in, a good crowd right now. We're right at 282. Let's see where we're going to go. We're at 803. I think we just about have everyone here in a few seconds. Great. Solid. So, let's get into, we're going to get into the information. We're going to get into the information. We're going to talk about what Kindred Hearts is and what Kindred Hearts is not. We want to make sure that we're all, just on one accord in that respect. Again, my name is Aaron Edwards, and, Kindred Hearts has been great for me and my friends and family. So as I, again, continue to elaborate on some of those things, let me get those folks out. Okay, there we go. So as I continue to elaborate on some of those things, let's first and foremost talk about what Kindred Hearts is. Kindred Hearts is just that. It's a gifting activity. It's a gifting activity that has provided us with an option in terms of to invite friends and family into an activity that's going to not only continue to allow us to thrive as we work together, as we use it as network opportunities and things of that nature, but it's going to, change your life in the process, monetarily speaking. It will also, it's going to also, quite frankly, in a nutshell, help each other grow and flourish in the process. Kindred Hearts is not a club. It's not basically an investment. Those things do not apply when it comes to Kindred Hearts. They do not apply when it comes to Kindred Hearts. Let's see. No, that's not all. So they do not apply when it comes to Kindred Hearts. We don't have products, so we're not a business. We're not a company. No one gets paid to do this. Again, what we're going to go is highlight through some of the things in terms of what I like to do when I first start sharing with a presentation is I like to simply just talk about how it works, get into the meat and potatoes of why we all carved out this time in respect to our busy evenings and things of that nature. So one thing in and of itself that we do want to look at, let me just get this down here. One thing that I do want to spend time on in terms of how it works is that as I share with people at times, just getting straight to the point is, if you were to come out of your pocket on a one-time basis of just $100, and someone would assure you that all you had to do is find 2 additional people that would do the same, is that an opportunity that you will see a return of $21,000? Excuse me, is that an opportunity that you would feel great about? And for most people, obviously, at this point, while we still have a wait room, the answer is obviously unequivocally yes. You guys definitely want to move forward and see, hey, what is this all about? So this is what we call a 2x3 matrix board. All that simply means, in a nutshell, is that with Kindred Hearts, you have a senior at the top, you have 2 juniors below the seniors, you have 4 sophomores below the juniors, and you actually have 8 freshmen at the bottom. When you start with this activity and you initially come on board, you are a freshman. There's only 2 points in which transactions take place in Kindred Hearts. That's as a freshman, you're going to give the senior, and as a senior, you're going to receive the gifts. Those are the only 2 places where monetary transactions take place. Throughout the process of being a sophomore and a junior, you're simply making your way through the process from a freshman to a senior, etc., and from a senior to back to a freshman again. So let's talk about that $100 board. That $100 board, in a nutshell, when you first come into the activity, as you can see, there are the 8 freshmen. Here's the senior on the board. When you first come into the activity, let me get this out of here. Okay. When you first come into the activity, one thing that you'll be mindful of is that as you give that senior on the board, and in the process of gifting that senior, you have 7 additional freshmen that would do the same. Once you successfully gifted that senior, you have your 2, you're going to move to the level 2, better known as the sophomore position. So now your 2 invitees will be new gifters. They will gift their senior, but now you're a sophomore. Again, you are required not to do anything else outside of having your 2, and you come on board and gift with your initial $100. So you just allow your momentum to carry you forward from the sophomore position to the junior position, and then from the junior position, moving forward on until the senior position. Now, once you're at a senior position, now you're in that position to receive on the $100 board $800. When you get that $800, one act that we like to emphasize is what we consider essentially just sowing your seed. So sowing your seed and moving forward of that first 4 gifts that you receive to place yourself on what's known as the next $400 board. You have 4 boards throughout this process. We just started with the $100 board. You have a $400 board, and a $1,000 board, and a $2,000 board. So bringing it back to the $400 board, you've now secured your position on the $400 board, and in the process, you're going to keep give 5, give 6, and give 7. In this activity, you will always use the 8th and final gift to re-give back into a new like board. So in essence, that new like board in this case is the $100 board. So now you're still on the $100 board, but you're on the $400 board, and you're just going to allow your momentum to continue to push you up because you got your 2 got their 2, etc., etc. Now that we're on the $400 board, let's give you another visual display of exactly how this is going to work moving forward. So you're on the $400 board, and you want to make sure that once you get to the senior position, you're going to actually accept the first 2.5 gifts to secure your position on, again, the $1,000 board, because remember I said it's a $100 board, a $400 board, and a $1,000 board, and a $2,000 board. Now that you have the first 2.5 gifts and you do that, you're going to keep half of your 3rd gift, you're going to keep your 4th gift, your 5th gift, your 6th gift, and your 7th gift. That's $1,800. Again, as I said, in this activity, that 8th and final gift, you're always going to use it to re-gift into a new like board. With that 8th gift, it's going to make a lot of sense in the next 3 to 5 minutes in terms of why you're using it to re-gift back into a new board. So now that you just put in your pocket $300 from the $100 board, you put in your pocket $1,800 from the $1,800 from the $400 board. Now that you're on $1,000 board, you're just going to continue to ride the momentum. You're riding the momentum to the senior position on the $1,000 board. Again, the first 2 gifts that you receive from the freshman, you're going to take those 2 gifts and you're going to secure your position on a $2,000 board. Gift 3 through 7, you're going to put in your pocket. So in essence, that's $5,000. We know what we do with the 8th and final gift. We're always going to take that 8th and final gift and we're going to re-gift back into a very new $1,000 board. Now that we're on a $2,000 board, that's the last and final board in terms of from a monetary standpoint and going through this process. We're on the $2,000 board. Your momentum continues to carry you to move forward. Once you're in that senior position on a $2,000 board, you're going to actually keep all 7 gifts in this case, because again, it's the last board. So that's $14,000. Now, we actually successfully put $14,000 in our pocket on the $2,000 board. On the $1,000 board, we put $5,000 in our pocket, and actually moving back on the $400 board, we put $1,800 in our pocket. And again, I don't really like to include what it took to start the activity from that $100. So you, in all actuality, put $200 in your pocket on that $100 board.
Excuse me, Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron.
Yeah.
The picture is distorted. We can't see the words clearly.
It's
the whole
distorted.
presentation, it has been distorted.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Let me blow it up for you just a little bit.
It's completely outright. You know, I want to
give me 1 moment here.
What we've seen in a way that is unique to modern political history.
All right.
Is a president trying to hurt people from voting. Right? What we've never seen before is
someone put yourself on mute. I can still hear you in the background, or you're looking at TV. I'm trying to enlarge it here just a little bit. I had it earlier, but
Aaron, it's actually showing up black on mine. I can't see anything.
It's showing up black?
Yes. I can see your picture, but the screen is black. Behind, like with the presentation.
That's interesting.
Okay,
it's for me.
Go on. She doesn't have
for me.
Because I can
Yeah,
see.
I can see it as well.
Okay, cool.
It's just
Have
blurry.
something on because
It's just blurry. Yes.
Okay.
It's just not clear.
It's not clear. Okay. Let's try this.
I have half a screen.
Let's try this. All right. I don't know why it's not allowing me to.
I think I'll get away.
So, let's see. Remember, mute your mics. Just please mute your mics, and I'm gonna try and get this technical difficulty worked out in terms of enlarging it. It's just the icon is just not. Let me see what we got going on here.
Just keep going, brother.
All right. So, are you all able to? You said it's distorted. Are you able to see the figures at all?
Yes, we're able to see the figures. I think it's only some people that might be having a problem. You should just keep going. You should just keep going.
It's still blurry.
That's yours.
Just go ahead, man.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
Well, let's go. It sounds like the consensus. I appreciate you guys chiming in. It sounds like the consensus is to keep going throughout the process. So I definitely appreciate that. Well, let me jump back into it. So that's basically how it works. That's the overview. I want to emphasize a few things in respect to how do you get started in this activity. You saw how the money work. I'm going to take time to look at some of those things again. However, when we speak of what's necessary in respect to basically making sure that you get off to the right on the right foot with Kindred Hearts, the first thing that I emphasize after you log in and after you go to the join tab, which I'm gonna go into that in just a few moments, is that you want to hit this link in terms of the training video. That training video is essential. It's about 15 to 16 minutes long, but it's going to give you as a freshman a complete A to Z synopsis and overview in respect to how you get started, how you join. Once you join, how do you log in? How do you go to what we call board placement? And all those things are in terms of how it assists and aids you in respect to making sure that you just have an overall understanding of how the system works. Because although it may seem very clear, concise in respect to like, hey, go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, you need to put yourself on mute. Let me see. Let me go. I'm gonna keep going, y'all, but I'm gonna check this out, and I wanna make sure that those people that are not on mute, eventually I'm just drop the call if you can't respect the others that are on the call.
Yeah, maybe you should mute everybody. As the host, you should mute everybody.
Yeah, let me try that.
Aaron, I think you muted yourself.
Yeah.
Hello. Aaron, I don't know if you can hear, but you muted yourself. No one can hear you. You're muted.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So, in short, what I was saying in terms of the training video, once you go to the training video is going to give you that A to Z. The how it works is what we just went over. In addition to the how it works, the board placement. The board placement is going to allow you to simply place yourself on the board in the proper manner. You can create duplicate, what we call tickets and things of that nature while you're placing yourself on the board. So one thing you simply want to be mindful of before hitting board placement is, again, looking at that training video and making sure that you're going through the process correctly. In addition to that, you always want to look at the new guidelines. It's going to be blurry, but I definitely still want you to get an idea of how it looks. You can't miss it, as you can see, because it's in bold red. But these new guidelines is going to go over some of the things that I initially highlighted with you in terms of what Kindred Hearts is and what Kindred Hearts is not. Let's take a look at some of those guidelines. And I know it's blurry, but one thing that I would like to emphasize is that there are no marketing, no email blasting on Kindred Hearts. It is by private invitation only. The people who invited you to this call, they thought the world of you. They thought that you were a perfect fit in terms of having a kindred heart or a like mind. So, we want to basically keep that synergy and that energy in the right place. So being mindful of that, one thing you want to do is make sure that you don't go to social media with this. You don't go to door, things of that nature. It's by private invitation. Another thing I would like to emphasize, I spoke of when I showed the overview in terms of gifting. When you're a freshman, you gift the senior on the board. Seniors receive. 2 points on that. First and foremost, freshmen, when you secure your position on the senior board, the first thing you do is make contact with he or she to find out how they would like to receive their gifts. We do not want to put yourself on a board, basically maintain space on that board, and then not do the proper things in terms of making sure that you're reaching out to that senior so the fluidness of the activity can continue. This color coded, and I'm gonna go over a couple of things in a few moments in respect to the colors that you are when you first get onto the board, and how you change as you move throughout the process. Another thing that we want to highlight is that when you do gift up the first time around, as you go through the process, which was $21,000, as you go through the process moving forward, and every subsequent time that you go through the process, you're going to keep 7 gifts. And keeping those 7 gifts, you're going to actually put $24,500 in your pocket. That's one thing that I was highlighting because of some of the technical difficulty and some of the things that we had to deal with. I didn't go right into that as I generally would. But there again, you're going to keep 7 gifts as opposed to, the different gifts that you kept to move yourself up one board and then re-gifting with that 8th position. That's the reason why you were consistently re-gifting with that 8th gift, because it allowed you to already be placed on that board for the next time around. So again, the first time is $21,000. Every time after that, moving forward, is $24,500. Now, another thing that I would like to just kind of bring to your attention in terms of the gifting, you gift up and you gift what we call back. This is basically something that, again, if you don't adhere to this, you will be removed from the activity. It's just no reason to not give. You have the money. Go ahead and make sure that you keep everything fluid. You don't withhold money, and we all can be successful in this gifting activity. Someone's talking. Just mute yourself. I don't know if it's your TV or whatever the case may be, but just mute yourself. Remind yourself. Be mindful to mute yourself. For some reason, I generally do have, I apologize for the other participants. I generally do have the all mute icon, but I don't have it. So I'm just asking you guys to mute yourself without me manually going through the process and muting everybody. I appreciate that again. Okay.
Aaron.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. This is Angelia. If you are able to make me the co-host, I can remove anyone from the line that's not muted.
Let me take a look at that real quick.
I have sent them a private message, but I don't think that they're checking their chat box.
Okay. Do you have a name? I mean, if they're not paying attention, I don't mind. Just call their name and I'll remove them.
Natasha's iPhone, and Palencia Williams, and then there's a number 962537. Don't know what that is, but that's the one where the noise is coming from.
What's the other one?
The other ones are gone. The only one that's open is 962537. Yep, you got it.
All right. I definitely appreciate that. We appreciate that. And again, the muting process is very simple. We don't want to just be on the phone. So we appreciate everybody. It's always just a slight percentage, and it was just a slight percentage, not even 1%. I mean, it was 2 people that was removed, and we have 300 people on this phone call. So thank you for everyone else basically participating and being patient with us in this process. So again, Kindred Hearts. Now, you see that we have a website. We actually have a website that's going to allow you to navigate through this process, and it's so great. It works with algorithms that have already been set in place. Kindred Hearts was put in place back in October of 2009. We've been successfully gifting throughout the years, and your inviter, whoever thought, again, enough of you to invite you, you will be their invitee and will always follow them and help them and aid them throughout this process. So again, you guys will be successful together, and that's so important that you want to be mindful of that. I spoke about the training video and how it works in the board placement. The member info, let's go there for just a moment so I can highlight a couple things in terms of member info. Well, with member info, it's pretty private in respect to, it's going to provide you with your name, in terms of your username. You can update it at any point, your password, as well as your methods of contact via email and cell phone or home phone for those who still use a home phone. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize is that, it's to personal preference. I prefer to pick up a phone and make a phone call. But for those who don't mind, and they may be more comfortable actually communicate via text or email, then by all means do what's comfortable for you. But remember, the objective is to get in contact with the senior so you can give he or she in a timely fashion. I've spoken a lot about the responsibility on the freshman in terms of gifting. One thing I do want to bring to the forefront is that seniors, let's be patient with the freshmen. So let's not rush to basically say, hey, I noticed you just requested placement on a board or on my board. How would you like to give? Sharon, who spent so much time in terms of providing us with this great opportunity that we have here. She's the founder of Kindred Hearts. She actually asks that seniors not do that because we don't want to harass anyone. Now, again, freshmen, we're going to be respectful, and we're going to give the senior in a timely fashion, because if you leave the senior with no other choice but to reach out to you days after being on their board, then, that's a whole nother scenario in and of itself, and it speaks for itself. But I just want to, basically make sure that we're all on one accord in that respect when it comes to the gifting opportunity and what it provides for us in terms of the senior and the freshman relationship. And because I don't want to show that personal details, I'm not going to, move it further. Now, let's go back to what's known as the Member Center. The Member Center is going to provide you with a lot of detailed information in terms of, first and foremost, you have a welcome. This welcome in terms of the Member Center is providing you with your initial, basically main homepage when you come to the website. You always want to confirm initially upon signing in who your inviter is, and this is who the inviter is. And then you can drop down to the bottom and you will see who the invitees are. Here are your invitees. So one thing I want to do as we move throughout this process is that I want to take a moment and we're going to take a look at some of the boards here. Let's take a look at a board or two. So let's go to a different board. Hold on 1 second. I want to get you into a better board. Just bear with me for one moment. It's your login information and I'm going to open it up for questions in just a few moments, but I want to highlight a couple of things with you so we can kind of answer as many questions on the front end as possible. This is actually my board, and what we want to do is take a look at the initial $100 board. We saw a diagram in terms of the structure, but I want to show you how the boards actually look. Now, again, this board has already been what we call retired, simply meaning that I've gone through the process of a freshman, from a freshman, sophomore, junior to senior in terms of receiving all of my gifts. It's just held up just a few more moments. should pop up, and then we'll take a look at it. There we go. So one thing I would love to bring to your attention is, first and foremost, anytime that you first land on the board, you're going to actually show up in red. The reason why you're actually in red is because you are new to the activity, or you have a gift pending. Either or, you're going to have a gift pending even when you're new to an activity. What's required to basically change from a red to the next color code? I know it's probably blurry, so I want to highlight it for you. You're going to go from red to black. This is an example of how a person looks when they're basically coming from red to black. That just simply means that you have successfully gifted the senior on the board, but then as you gifted that senior, now you actually are in position to move to the next position, which is a sophomore, and you're going to be blue. Well, actually, once you get your first person, your first invitee, you turn from green, and from green you go to blue. But we don't have anyone on this board that's green because they have their invitees. As you can see, all in the sophomore position, they have their 2 invitees. Once you have your 2 invitees, you will always remain in a blue color code. The only time, again, that you will no longer be blue is when you leave from this senior position here. And as you do what we just said, retire that board, meaning you've received all your gifts from all 8 freshmen, and you actually go to the $400 board, and you are red position because you have a gift pending. But the moment you actually gift that senior on the board, you go from red to blue. You no longer go to black or green. You go from red to blue. So that's one thing that I wanted to emphasize, so you guys can see the structure of the board, familiarize yourself with some of the color codes. And again, that training video is going to do a great job in terms of highlighting that and really making that fresh and clear for you. Now, I've gone through the opportunity. Is there anything? I do want to take a moment and open up the forum for questions. Again, I know we've had a lot of choppiness and interruptions, and I appreciate your patience. But I do want to go into the chat room and look at some of the questions to see exactly, what makes sense in terms of how we need to help you guys. Give me one moment. We have someone that's actually not muted. I have a 962537. I think that's the same person. If I'm not mistaken.
Barbara Winchester. Barbara Winchester, Kurt Atkins. If you can please mute your line.
We give them about 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, cool. And okay, cool. So they took care of it. Solid. All right. So let me check out a chat form and just see what we have here. Give me one moment. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment. Okay, let me read this first. So this first question that I'm looking at, okay, well, actually there's a detailed explanation. So let me read this. Amira, who does a wonderful job, just assisting and teaching and things of that nature. The question is, are you able to pass the person who invited you if you have your 2 people and your 2 people both have their 2 people, each and every one is meeting the expectation of bringing 2 invitees, or if you have a group that you're bringing on, you can absolutely move past your inviter because the boards have 2 sides and a program to move from left to right. All you have to do, they're going into some more information here. I don't want to read all that verbatim for the sake of time and clarity. But the heart of the matter is, can you actually move past your inviter? And that's a good question. Yes, you can. You don't want to hold anyone back. Ideally, you don't want to. And that's why that question is twofold. Why? Because if you can basically maintain the flow of basically helping the people move, helping your inviter move throughout the process, then it's going to prohibit basically extra work in terms of duplicate actions and things of that nature. When an invitee get past an inviter, because of the nature of the system, that invitee will always come back and help that inviter retire he or she board. In essence, complete the process. Make sure that that's inviter is gifted out, or even if that inviter is not in a senior position, help that inviter move throughout the process. And even as I say that, I am going to start sharing the screen again. However, there are some situations where a group is so large that it just don't make sense to try to catch up the other leg within reason, that you have to allow that group basically flourish and take on this course, and just keep in mind that they're going to come back and help them. Regardless of how fast or how long they run, they will come back and help them. But all in all, what you want to do ideally is, before you actually get to that point, you want to actually share with your fellow teammates and say, hey, do you need any assistance in doing what we call retiring your board? Initially, it's just this initial $100 board, because the way this system works, you want to make sure that you're helping he or she basically get to a level where the activity would just flow and everyone would push each other up. But again, sometimes people go out, they find a large group, and that's a great thing, and it's just going to allow the activity to thrive as a whole. But in those cases, you will have your invitee come back and help you. So hopefully, that wasn't too wordy, but it was very thorough in respect to passing an invitee. But you want to help each other. You want to help each other as much as possible. And if you all on the same page, that's priority. That's priority. Let's see what any other questions that we have here. Sharing the screen again. So another question that we may have here in the chat group. I apologize. Push the wrong thing. Okay, that's more of another type of question for another forum. I don't want to get into isolated situation, but more of ideal first time in the gifting activity, and I want to just kind of get some clarity on how Kindred Hearts work. Okay, so this question, I know I didn't say it in sequence, so I appreciate your patience, and I definitely would give an explanation to this. So it actually says, can you explain what happens to the money you re-gift on the board you just left after you gift your next board in the same cycle? So again, the beauty of this, there are no middlemen. There are no middle people or personnel that are holding the money. So in essence, with the first cycle, in terms of, we call that gifting up, when you were securing your positions the first time around, that's going directly to the senior from the freshman in every case. With the 8th gift, that gift that you were re-gifting back into a new light board, whether it was the $100 board, $400 board, etc., that money went to a senior as well. You just went to a senior on a new $100 board, a new $400 board, etc. And you don't give them at the same time. you actually give the first one to secure your position as a freshman on the board. And then once you receive all 8 gifts, so you've obviously moved from sophomore to junior and now to a senior position. And at that point, you're going to take that 8th and final gift and re-gift it back into a new light board to a new senior, if that makes sense. So hopefully that gave you a great detailed explanation in that respect. Let's see.
Hey, Aaron, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead.
The whatever it is that you're trying to show on the screen right now, that's all black and gray. I can't see it. I'm not sure if anybody else can, and it's making me
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And those are just some of the questions, and that's why I'm doing my best to, read them verbatim and give a more detailed explanation as I do read them. But that was simply some of the questions from the chat. And while you're on, do you have a question?
Not really. I'm just learning. This is pretty cool. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I have a question. My question is,
Okay, who are you? Introduce yourself if you don't mind. I want to know who you're
my
talking
name
to.
is Tanya. My name is Tanya Johnson, and
Okay.
I just started, and I want to come in with a pool of people. However, my question is, how long is the process from 100? I know that there is a record right now with 28 days and all of that, but the normal, how long is it from the 100 board to the $2,000 board? The normal activity.
That's a great question. We get that question all the time. And the beauty of this activity, because as you see with this 2x3 matrix, is that with the senior at the top, the 2 juniors, and also the 4 sophomores and the 8 freshmen, is that once you become a junior, once you're a junior and you actually have all 4 positions, regardless if it's 1 through 4 or 5 through 8 filled, once you have all 4 positions filled, you move from that junior to a senior on your own board. And Selena, in this case, she remains a senior and she continues to receive the gifts. I did get into a lot of detail in terms of how the board moves. Again, I'm going to say that for the training video because it's very detailed. But to the answer to your question in short is that if you're getting your 2, you're following the training video in terms of how to successfully plug them in, this activity will move literally as fast as you move it. So in essence, that 28 days is one record, but there is literally no restrictions in response to or in respect to how fast you can get from one level to the next, let alone from freshman as freshman on the $100 board to a senior receiving gifts on the $2,000 board. Did that answer your question in detail?
It did. However, I thought that based upon, I looked at another video, I'm sorry, from Miss Little John. I think her name was Little John. And whenever all of these people are constantly giving back to the $100 board, hypothetically, if you're constantly giving back to the $400 board, then is it just your people that you brought in that you're constantly giving back to? Or are you intermingling with other boards? Because when I thought that once you get to the $400 board, you start intermingling with other people that you don't even know. Mm-hmm. However, they're the ones that are also just coming off of that $100 board. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. I'm going to give you an example here in just a moment. So I'm Money Matters too. That's who I am. That's when I came in. I'm going to give you a prime example. So let's go to this member center. And what we're going to do in a few moments is just take a look at how you literally go through the process. And there's a point where that board basically do what we call splits. And that's what I was alluding to when I said once you're in the junior position, once that senior has received, successfully confirmed, not just received, but successfully confirmed 4 gifts, and you have icons and tickets that you will see in the system that will be referenced when you go into the training material. That's why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on training, because I don't want anyone to get ahead of the beaten path, and I want you have to go to that training video or you will make unnecessary mistakes. So get back to your point, is that with that training video, I don't know what's going on with that. But getting back to that training video in and of itself, as you can see, Leah, she actually, Money Matters, she was on the left, Amira was on the second. Once I hit this position, and there again, all 4 positions were successfully confirmed, simply meaning Mr. James Wynn basically said, I did receive these gifts, and then the system noted it. I went to a senior position on my $100 board. And therefore, when I went to the senior position on my $100 board, Leah Money Matters went to a junior position where I'm currently at, and Amira went to a junior position at the number 2 spot. And the 4 freshmen here became the 4 sophomores across. And I'll show you that board, and then you'll see how it's pretty much self-explanatory as it moves. And I know your emphasis was on, hey, when that action occurs, how often are we following each other? Once you split like that, you're going to find out that because we're making room on a consistent basis for the up-and-coming juniors, and there's no form of a pyramid in respect to who receives the gifts, everyone receives the same amount throughout this process. And because that's the case, everyone gets the opportunity to become a senior. And that being the case, there will be new people that you will give and receive gifts from that never even came in directly under your downline. It's the way the board moves, and as it goes through the process in terms of helping you stay in compliance of the activity in and of as a whole, and successfully move throughout the process. So it doesn't hinder the time or the fluidness in terms of you leaving that freshman position as on the $100 board and getting to the senior position on a $2,000 board. Did that make sense?
Yes, that made a lot of sense. Thank you. My next question is, how long did it take you to get all the way through the $2,000 board? How long?
Well, me, I'm on the $2,000 board as a junior position as we speak. So I'm on the $2,000 board as a junior position, and this is my 8th week. But again, it will move as fast as you move it. It'll move as fast as you move it. One thing I can't emphasize enough, I'm not just trying to beat this into you guys' head, and I apologize for the extra stuff that's going on the screen, but I can't emphasize this enough. Go to this training tab. This is going to eliminate a lot of time and extra work by your team members, by your inviter, and even by Sharon and Phyllis, because things get escalated to the even founder in some cases, because we, even as your inviter, there are some things that we just have no control in terms of changing. So I emphasize, don't get ahead of yourself. Take your time as you go through the process, specifically as you create the username and you assign the inviters, and as you move throughout the process. There are a ton of things that I could share in regards to how the board moves and things of that nature, but I'm saving that for the training video, because once you get that like second nature, then it's going to eliminate all of the extra errors that a person may incur by not adhering to that.
I do understand that. I really do. I'm just a little bit questionable about once they move from one board to the next. Am I constantly pushing the $100 board? Because if I'm at the $1,000 board and I got strong people on that board, then why am I still pushing because of that $1,000 board, or am I intermingling? Miss Littlejohn used that, I think, but that verbiage. And I'm intermingling with other people on the board who is already on the 1,000 and the 2,000, because cycle 2 is more money. It's more money. It's 24,500. Cycle 1 was only 21,100. So I'm wondering, when is the work complete?
Never.
When is the work complete? Okay,
Never.
well, the beauty of it is the work is never complete.
Never complete.
The beauty of it, the work is never complete. You're gonna stay on that path to the 21,000 first and foremost. However, you will be intermingling with other people as you use that eighth and final gift to re-gift into the 100, the 400, the 1,000, as well as the $2,000 board. And I believe that's Uniqua. I'm going to get to it in just a second, so just bear with me. I appreciate your patience. So you are going to be able to intermingle with the others. Keep in mind that your invitees are the ones that push you, and the momentum behind their invitees, et cetera, et cetera. So all things being said, yeah, you're going to intermingle with different boards, and you're going to be gifting people. I gifted somebody not too long ago that was out in California. You know, you're going to gift people that was in the activity well before you. But all those things being said, the beauty of it is that you guys are going to push each other, and as long as your group continue to do that proper activity, you guys are going to move throughout the process. Okay?
Yes, I love that. Thank you.
All right.
Quick question.
Well, let me get to Unique. Is that Unique?
Yes. Hi, Aaron. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't have a question. I just wanted to ask. I have 2 people that were in the meeting, but for some reason they got kicked out. And I was asking, can you possibly open up the chat? Open up the board so that they could log back in. I don't know if for some reason they can't get in.
Got back in. Yes, I have 4. I have 4 people that also want to get in. So
it was up to 291 when I just checked. It's up to 294. I have 2 people that they can't. They were in, but for some reason they got.
So listen, let me share with you one moment. In that respect, people are consistently, and technology is just that. It's technology. So unfortunately, things may happen where they may get bumped off the call, things of that nature. That's why I'm keeping a busy hand with admitting all. So, we're working diligently to get everyone on the call as much as possible. But in the meantime, we're going to keep flowing with the information. But I'll definitely, keep a watchful eye and making sure that we keep people in tune to the call, okay?
Awesome. How successful?
Thank you kindly.
How successful is this group in paying out the $21,000? And is it possible to hear some of those testimonies on a call so that we're feeling more comfortable, about making this type of investment?
It ain't no investment.
I know. I got it.
Well,
One second. No problem at all. Now, if I may say, first and foremost, again, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Hello?
Hi, Aaron. I'm sorry. It's Nikki.
Okay,
and
Nikki.
I was invited by someone. That's why I'm here. And my apologies. Yeah. It is not an investment. It's a gift.
That's right. Well, that's cool.
Pardon me.
No, it's okay. Yeah, listen, I know you're new to the platform. We got to get the lingo. That's why we're here. That's why I want you guys to check out that training video. In terms of, like you already emphasized, it is gifting, and it's not a payout. It's receiving gifts, and we just want to make sure we are stickler for those terms, because this is what keeps it with the tax exempt status, in terms of we don't have to pay taxes on this money because it falls under the IRS.gov gifting law. Now, in terms of testimonies, there are an abundance of testimonies. A young lady who was just on the line, she could share some testimonies. Angelia, as well as a plethora of other people. The one thing that I would like to say is it goes back to some of the questions that I have had the opportunity to answer just here recently. It will move as fast as you move it. In terms of this 21,000, I mean, it's not the platform in itself that is gifting out, if you will, the 24,000. The beauty of this is all of us working in unison that's gifting out the 21,000. So how successful it is, it's what you make it. And that's the best explanation I can provide. It's really what you make it. I've had a couple of days here this week where, you know, when you're on the $1,000 board, you know, you can literally get, just think, that's $8,000. If people are gifting you in a timely fashion, you're going to receive that money in a short time frame. So, you know, I mean, it's going to move as fast as you move it. The testimonies are there. I'm pretty sure they're in your own groups in regards to who took the time to.
I was like, who is Gigs? We need to get Gigs 2 spots. Who is that? I don't know who Gigs is.
Please mute your lines.
Because he's the one that brought her in. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Because I was telling him that.
Do Angelia, you have any idea of who that may be for me?
Please put them out.
Try to get her out the way.
It's Galaxy J7 Crown. Galaxy J7 Crown. Okay, they muted.
Gosh.
All right, so they called themselves. Okay, all right. Cool. Did that help you a little more with in terms of exactly what you were asking?
Yes, it really helped me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no worries. That's what I'm here for. Any other questions or anything that, you know, in respect to the activity itself? Anyone have anything that they'd just like to ask of me?
Yes, I have a question.
Give me one moment. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is Beverly Grayson. I just have a quick question. If there's a problem and you're going and you're moving people around wrong on the board or something like that, how do we get in touch with support?
Hold on 1 second. We have someone that's
It's IANITAKETCHUM.
Put them out.
Bev Grayson.
Yes, Bev Grayson is asking a question.
Okay.
And my question.
Galaxy tab E.
okay.
And then there's an email address, Lanita Ketchum at sbcglobal.net. If you can find the options to make me the host, I will remove them from the line.
Yeah, I was looking for that earlier. I definitely wanted to do that.
I know you probably can't do it from your end as far as removing or muting.
Yeah, I removed a few, but just in terms of making you the host, that's what I wanted to do. And I would have to, I think, go back into the settings for the time being.
Okay. It's good. I think we're good now.
Yeah, we're good. I appreciate that, though.
Hello? So my question was,
I apologize. One moment. Did I get the last question? Because we had a lot of distortion. Have all questions been answered? More specifically, the person that was just asking the last question.
yes, that's me. Go
ahead.
My name is Bev Grayson, and my question was, how do we get in touch with support? If we want to get in touch with support.
That's a great question. While we're currently doing some maintenance with the support email link, right now we just want to get back with our inviter. Our inviter will know exactly who to basically go up through the proper channels in respect to making sure that whatever situation or scenario that we need to have addressed, that we can do that accordingly. But right now, the support link on the site, we had one that is currently under maintenance, so the inviter will be able to help you resolve those issues that you may have. And then we have times when we carve out every first and third Tuesday where you have Sharon herself, the creator of the platform, that will actually take the time to answer questions, correct problems, and things of that nature. Okay.
Thank you.
Hello?
We're gonna take probably about 3 to 5 more questions. But go ahead. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Tommy.
Tommy?
Yes.
Okay, nice meeting you, Tommy.
Nice meeting you. I want to know if the freshman is in blue. Blue means that you got 2 people, right?
That's correct.
So where is their people? Are they on another board? Are they on the same board?
That's an excellent question. So when I showed you that, that's like what's known as a re-entry board. Remember how we take that 8th gift and re-give back into a new light board?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see, and that's a great question. I'm so glad you brought that to the forefront. Whenever you see a freshman in blue, then that freshman, he or she is re-entering into specifically $100 board, because it's obviously, kind of obvious, if you will, if they're on a 400 or greater board, but they're just simply re-entering into a new $100 board. A freshman, true to the activity for the first time, will always appear in red with a pending gift, but go to black, if that makes sense.
What about the sophomore?
The sophomore should either be in green or blue, depending on the number of invitees he or she have. And I appreciate you guys' hands being raised. I'm going to get to that. But depending on the invitees that he or she have, they're going to be in green and then blue. And that's going to, a lot of attention will be emphasized on that note in the training video. So make sure you watch those training videos, okay?
And I have one more question. Okay, if the sophomore in blue and don't their invitees want to be under them on the freshman, why there's nobody on the freshman level and they're blue on the
and that shouldn't be the case, and that's a great observation. I don't know if you see that on are you currently in the activity already?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's a scenario where essentially, again, back to these training videos, basically whoever put the information in at that point, they just assign someone and they fell in a different position as opposed to not being directly underneath the inviter, or specifically that person is in blue. So again, you will see how to avoid mistakes like that. Have you had the opportunity to look at the training video in its entirety?
Yes. See, right now I'm a senior. And my board is, I don't understand my board.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. And that's why I'm glad you're here. And I'm really glad, sincerely, that you're asking the questions. So one thing I like to say again is that take the time, go back and look at that training video. I apologize in advance and on behalf of whomever if that was not brought to your attention on the onset. But definitely do that, and it's going to answer a lot of the questions that you have. It's going to address those concerns, okay?
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me get to some of these participants who have been patient with me.
How long did it take you to get through all the cycles?
Give me one moment. I want to make sure I get to the people who are raising their hand. And it may be you. I just want to make sure I get to that screen real quick.
I was wondering how do you put in tickets?
Hold on one second. Well, I don't see the hands anymore, but so let's just start with.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But give me one moment. Let's go in the order of. Let's start with the first question, and then we'll proceed from there. So the young lady, she had a question. Go ahead, if you will, announce. Give me your name and let's have conversation.
Okay, my name is Teresa, and I was wanting to know if anything ever happened that you have to put in a ticket. What is your steps of putting in the ticket?
Okay. First and foremost, great question. You want to get with your inviter, as well as there are hold on one second. There are live calls on the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of each month, that will allow you to simply, patiently wait and attend, but ask those questions and concerns and those tickets, as you said, that you may have in terms of corrections, modifications, or whatever the case may be. Essentially, they will be able to assist you with that. So if your inviter, in short, just haven't had the opportunity to get back with you and haven't run that through the chain of command, then once you actually get on a first Tuesday or third Tuesday call, you'll have the opportunity to address your questions and concerns with someone who has the authority to make the necessary changes. Okay?
Okay, well, could you post it in the company?
Let's go with the next question. Listen, young lady, what's your name? And then we're going to go to the gentleman.
Hi, thank you very much. I've been trying for a while to speak up. My name is Moline, and I'm new. It's been actually today a week since I signed on. I was able to get to my first $100 board very fast because I was one of the first leader of my community that are connected. So I got to my $400 board. I blessed everyone. I blessed the senior, but at the same time, I was helping my colleagues and missed the opportunity to re-gift the $100 board. So when I saw myself there with the same senior that I'm familiar with, I quickly deleted myself and realized, wait a second, did I did a mistake? And I could see myself continuing a second time, but I'm unable to click down. So how do I re-enter that board as $100 participant?
That's a great question. And in cases like that, whenever you cancel a ticket, you want to, I'm gonna do it to you. Go to the training video. The training video is gonna give you the clarity. In short, and I'm gonna tell you this, in all due respect, the only reason why I'm not jumping to some of the answers directly, because some things I want you to do in the order that it calls for. I could easily say go to board placement, because board placement is where you place yourself on that next board. Now, again, with that eighth and final gift, you're going to automatically, by the system, be placed on the board that's necessary for you to gift the senior in position with your new board. However, when you're moving yourself up throughout the process, you're going to actually go to board placement. But if we go to training video, I know it's one thing that everybody is going to get on this call by the time I'm finished. Go to training video.
I don't think you answered my question, though, because I knew exactly what I did. Because when you're regifting, it automatically places you. What I saw is I automatically re-entered the 100. And the previous group in front of me didn't close their board throughout. And at that point, I knew I didn't understand the process because I deleted myself. It placed me automatically. So I knew later on I was supposed to gift it the 100. And I canceled it. So I'm basically the trial and error to bump into barriers and help my others behind me so they don't repeat the same mistake.
Right. I got you. And for the sake of time, it's the reason why I'm jumping in there. I'm going to get with you in just a moment, gentlemen. I appreciate your time, sir. I apologize. Let me go ahead and get your name. What's your name?
Newton Samuel.
All right, Mr. Samuel, we'll be with you in just a moment. And the reason why I was interjecting
I thought you were taking my call next.
No, I am. Well, the gentleman, the last two gentlemen, I'll make you guys the last two for the evening. But this young lady right here, let me go ahead and tie her question down real quick.
That's
so,
fine.
You are right, ma'am. I did get ahead of myself in listening to you. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention and being patient and actually repeating it. So to your point, and you hit the nail on the head when you said you got past your senior. When an inviter get past his or her,
no, I didn't pass my
you
senior.
said you retired it. You retired it before.
I retired the right way.
Let me help
I did my process the right way. I clicked on my placement. I think the gentleman after me had a similar question. I clicked on my $400 placement, right? It automatically defaulted. I clicked. But in the midst of being distracted, I didn't realize the system also automatically set me to re-gift myself, to re-give the senior in the $100 gift. Because you guys said that when you go to the $400 circle,
That's not unusual.
I can fix it. Let me help you.
Thank you.
Aaron, is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I had the same thing happen. I was bringing in my team, and when the ticket regenerated on the board, she hadn't paid the guy yet, and I accidentally removed her. I had to go to admin. Shantia was able to help me. You had to fill out the ticket where you asked to be replaced on the board. You need to give them the board number and the position that you were in, and they will be able to reset you. It took a few days, and after a while, I was able to reset it and put her back on that $100 board. But you have to fill out a ticket.
Okay, and one more question. Aaron was saying something.
Well, let's be respectful, and I know it took us some time to work through that one, but I want to get to these last two gentlemen.
But the last one, you said you never, when you re-gift, you never see the same senior. And I saw that senior.
No, I never said same thing. I said you're going to see it.
She didn't say that.
But do this for me. Do this for me. Just simply put your question in the chat, this second question, and someone will probably be able to assist you with that. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get the help tomorrow or later tonight in a telegram. But I definitely want to be mindful of the two gentlemen and make sure that we address their questions. Okay?
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Appreciate your patience.
Red's down in Florida and just trying to new to the program, and my invitee Jeff Brooks is up in Maryland. So right now we're just wanting to make sure that we have the training video. I guess there's a link for that, isn't there?
Yes, sir. It's right here. It's the second link beside the member center. It's the second link, and I apologize if it's a little blurry, but it's the second link beside member center training video. So once you go to that training video, it's going to stream you directly to a YouTube video approximately 16 minutes long.
Okay.
Take pictures. Take notes, all that good stuff.
This is perpetually. This is pretty much perpetually. Do you get in? Is there an ending to this process, or is it just perpetual?
It's perpetual. That's the beauty of it. The first time you go around is $21,000, and every subsequent time thereafter is $24,500 every time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering my call. I'll go to the website and go ahead and get my information. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Next question, please. I'll wrap it up after this one. That's everyone?
I have a question.
There's another gentleman, but I'll go ahead and I'm going to give him about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If he don't chime in, the floor is yours, and I'll let you end the night with us.
Okay, no problem.
Let the young lady go ahead, man.
Okay, cool. Yep, no one's responded. So yeah, may I ask with whom I have the pleasure of speaking with?
I just got new to the process. Oh, my name is Pauline.
Pauline, nice meeting you. I'm Aaron.
Nice meeting you, Aaron. Great job on your first presentation.
Thank you.
But secondly, there's like 15 of my family members that who want to give and want to be a part of this savings club.
You said you have 15 family members. I think you broke up on me.
Automatically? Am I breaking up? Sorry.
I hear you now.
Sorry.
No, I hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello? I can't hear you now.
Act ourselves as far as, place forth. If we come in 15, do we need to have between 15 and 30 to make sure we advance at a flowing rate to the second and third and fourth floors? I'm just trying to think of what the actual amount, the number is you have to close the network. Is it 225 for this network as well?
Well, just remember this, because if you're looking at in the spirit of really taking care of everyone, then every person is going to need to retire he or she board, which will require essentially to get to the top, the numbers around 56, something like that per person. So to simplify it is, just keep in mind, as long as every person have two people assigned to them, then it's going to flow accordingly. I know a lot of times we want to take a big picture and think about the groups and things of that nature in terms of what does it take to be successful. But when you're dealing with a group that size, you probably don't have, or you may have a concrete number, but because the way the board splits and it moves, and even mistakes that are made at times with re-entering a board that, you got past a senior and a lot of different other explanations, just keep in mind, just as long as each inviter have two invitees, then you're going to move. Keep in mind that as long as you manage to a T the gifting activity from a standpoint of freshman to senior, then sport is just going to flow. As long as those are confirmed and you keep moving, it's going to flow. Everything else will take care of itself.
Exactly. And we have so many deep, but I just mean we have 30 solids today, but I want to we're going to keep going. We want to build the community, keep going and going. But just as long as, that if we have issues, then there's an admin that we can discuss it with and just make sure that we're behind each other, following each other. That's all I'm really concerned about. So I appreciate you taking the time.
And we don't have any admins per se that people are receiving fees or anything of that nature. That's what keeps the platform completely legal. But to your point, we do have people in place, such as I alluded to or emphasized, the founder in respect to Sharon, and as well as other people that are in the activity that are sincerely giving their time and all the efforts that are necessary to make sure that the corrections are made. So absolutely, I mean, it's going to flow as long as you guys just keep plugging away. Okay.
Exactly, and pay attention. I thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you for letting me speak. The guy before me, I appreciate you too.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate everyone taking the time to join us this evening. It's 9:18 Eastern, etc. on Central Pacific time. But don't be afraid to reach out, speak, get back with the person who invited you. I hope you guys will see you gifting here soon and receiving gifts from each other as well as everyone else on the call. So take care. Have a great day. And don't forget about the training video. That's the most important thing to help you start off with a success. And it really keeps the fundamentals down to a science and respect to making sure that you just move through it smoothly and fluently. And last but not least, don't forget also about the training that takes place on the first Tuesday as well as the third Tuesday of each month. Because when you do have those issues, we make mistakes. Everything is not from a lack of, knowledge. Some things are just mistakes, a slip of the hand. That's where you're going to get those problems solved. They're going to be resolved, okay?
And watch the training video.
Yeah, watch the training video. All right, take care.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bro,
I'm gonna follow up.
Thank you.
Type in your inviter's username. Fill out the rest of the sections with your own info.